What's shaking, gang? Mr. Jeff here, and yeah, today I want to talk about the track count in your songs. So as you all probably know, we live in a world now today where when you're recording a song, you can just pile on tracks until you're either blue in the face or your computer just explodes because it can't handle it anymore. And being able to record essentially unlimited tracks isn't always necessarily a good thing. So today I just want to go over 3 reasons why you guys should be recording fewer tracks when you're putting your songs together. Alright, so the first reason to record fewer tracks is there's only so much real estate in the frequency spectrum. Now, of course, this is going to vary from person to person, but the typical human hearing ranges from about 20 Hz to about 20 kHz. Now, each instrument or sound that you record is going to take up a portion of that real estate, and some instruments can take up more room than others. Now, like a kick drum, for instance, as long as you got that 50 to 60 Hz low-end thump coming through, and around 3 to 5K for the beater to poke through, I mean, you're pretty well good. But for example, a distorted guitar or piano can easily eat up a giant hunk of that frequency spectrum. So the more and more tracks you start piling on, the more and more you're going to start running into issues where sounds are masking other sounds out. They just start conflicting and getting in the way of each other. And then you got to pull out EQs and you got to start carving the hell out of everything. Because I mean, panning and setting levels is only going to get you so far. And I mean, it's not that it can't be done. I mean, there's tons of songs on the radio nowadays that have, tons and tons of tracks, 70, 80, 90, 100 tracks on some of these songs. But in order to give everything in that mix its own little sonic space, I mean, you're just fighting an uphill battle right from the get-go. So that's going to lead us into reason number 2. Recording fewer tracks is going to give you more clarity. When your song has a lower track count, it allows the instruments that are in the song to be heard more clearly because you're going to have far less masking, you're going to have far less issues with things covering other things up. It gives the parts in the song far more room to breathe, therefore making them more clearly audible. And I mean, if we were to compare these two, I mean, you can fit 5 people comfortably in, say, like a Honda Civic. I mean, you could cram 10 or 12 people in there, but yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out. Kind of a weird analogy, but I think you get the point. And that's going to bring us into our third and final reason to record fewer tracks in your songs, and that is it makes mixing a whole lot easier. I mean, let's say you record a song, whatever, typical 4-piece rock band. Say at the end of the day you got, I don't know, it's a 24 track. Now then do a second version of that song where you've got like 10 guitar tracks and there's 20 tracks of vocals, and by the time you're done you got 80 tracks. Which one do you think is going to be easier to mix? Obviously, the 24-track version. And that 24-track version is going to sound bigger, it's going to sound punchier, and it's going to have a hell of a lot more clarity because there aren't 50 million things fighting for a limited amount of space in the frequency spectrum. So just to put all this together in a nutshell that you guys can leave with, I'm not saying that you guys should be limiting yourself to a certain amount of tracks. All I'm saying is that when you're recording a song, as you're adding to the track count, you should be asking yourself if you should be adding to the track count. Because just because you can, it doesn't mean you always should. You just have to ask yourself, do you really need to layer up 10 or 20 guitar tracks for a song, or will double tracking work just fine? Just keep things simple and it'll make your life a lot easier. Anyway, gang, that about wraps it up for me this week. So if you guys happen to have any comments or questions, just leave them down below. Just want to thank you all for watching. Again, I've been Mr. Jeff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So take it easy.